deployment?
Well, I am not hearing you well. In fact, something have gone wrong with the communication. But in any case, let me say what I heard is that the legitimacy of the Turkish or non-legitimacy of the Turkish intrusion into Iraq. I think this is, frankly speaking, an issue which is extremely important. It does highlight that the Iraqis are not in control, the government is not in control of its sovereignty. I think the Iraqi government should restore into restraint, number one. And secondly, to find out by sending a high-level delegation to Turkey what's happening. And this delegation should base its discussion on real intelligence and what is really the presence of the Turkish army in the Iraqi territory. I believe this is the just course and the normal course for interaction between Iraq and Turkey to ascertain that this is not really an invasion. It's not going to be costing Iraq. It's not infringing on the sovereignty of the nation of Iraq. And I think as a neighborly country, we should, and the government should resort into a kind of dialogue, and if the Turks are determined to continue what they are doing, then I guess the United Nations, the Security Council, the Islamic Conference Organization, and the Arab League should take over.
Well, certainly the international community has to be somehow involved here, or at least the opinions of Iraqi's neighbors. And as you said, the United Nations might be involved here. Reportedly now Iraq says it'll take its case to the Security Council. Now it could be speculated that it would have the support of China and Russia, but would everyone else be on side?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, just picking up on what you said earlier. Sure. Picking up on what you said earlier about the international community and Iraq's case taken to the United Nations. Reportedly, we're hearing that Iraq says it'll take its case to the UN Security Council. So what will be happening there if this case does go to the Security Council? I mean, on the one hand, it could have the support of China and Russia, but would everyone else be on side there?
Well, I'm not sure, but really my view and my vision is that once there is a confrontation or a problem on the borders and infringement of some army units into another country, this have to be taken seriously. And first of all, to ascertain this is through direct negotiations, dialogue with the Turkish government. If this fails, then ultimately there should be withdrawal of ambassadors, and there should be a complaint from the Iraq government to the various international community as well as the regional community. My understanding, yesterday, there have been a high-level Turkish delegation into Iraq. I am not sure what they discussed with the Iraqis. They met with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I think the head of the Turkish intelligence was in Baghdad. But we need to really take action, and immediate action, to verify what is happening in Kurdistan vis-à-vis the entry of the Turkish army, and secondly, to take active measures with the international community, with the Security Council, and with the rest of the countries who are involved in the fighting against ISIS in Iraq. My understanding of the international relations, no army could walk in any other country unless they take an agreement from that country, and it should be within the context of the sovereignty of the host country. In our case with Turkey now, it doesn't seem so. But again, because Turkey is a neighboring country, I think the Iraq government should really embark on a course of immediate dialogue and not wait for delayed answers. And it should present itself to the Iraqi people and explain to the Iraqi people exactly what's happening, which have not been explained yet. And there was an infringement also through the borders on an Islamic occasion from Iran. About 500,000 people entered without visas. This is again something which dents the sovereignty of the country.
Well, certainly,
so
while we are
government
awaiting the results of the talks, as you mentioned, of the Turkish delegation to Iraq there, and we also heard that Iraqi Shia militias say that they are ready to conduct a military action against Turkish troops. What do you make of that? I mean, could this escalate the crisis further? Can the crisis get out of control as a result?
I think it does. I think the problem is because the lack of control of the Iraqi government on its territory, from the very up north to the very down south. The neighboring countries are too frightened that things may happen to them, and there is instability in Iraq, and this will spill over into their countries. Plus the fact that there are people who are trying to fight Turkey from Iraqi soil, and also people who are trying to fight Iran from Iraqi soils. This is something that the Iraqi government have to bear responsibility and have to enter into a dialogue immediately with those two countries, and especially Turkey now, as armed forces have got inside Iraq.
But Mr. Allawi, what are your thoughts on Turkey's involvement there? I mean, why is it that Ankara is doing what it's doing, and what does it hope to achieve here by antagonizing Iraq?
Well, let me tell you something. I think there is an exaggeration in the media. I have been calling for the last 6 months for a regional security conference of regional countries, of the neighbors of Iraq, to discuss the issues of security in the whole region, especially where problems are taking place and conflicts are taking place. Unfortunately, there are some hiccups against convening such a conference, but I guess this is something that the governments of the region should work on. It's very serious. The situation is becoming very serious, and things cannot be tolerated anymore. And really the people who are paying the price for this are the ordinary citizens of Syria, of Iraq, of Palestine, of Lebanon. These are the people who are suffering really. That's why we see an exodus of hundreds of thousands of civilians, and they are drowning in the seas, risking to be drowning in the seas rather than staying in their own countries.
Right,
that's why I think the international community now bears responsibility, and the United Nations definitely do so. And we have to engage in a practical exercise by getting the region to meet and the leaders of the region to meet and to come to solutions in order to stabilize this important region.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Allawi, we'll have to leave it there, I'm afraid, because we're running out of time. But we greatly appreciate your taking the time to talk to us here on RT International and sharing with us your thoughts and concerns regarding the situation in your country. Well, Ayad Allawi, Iraq's former vice president and former prime minister, talking to us here on RT International. And up next, Boom Bust looks at the reasons why oil giants slash their